fastest show in sports.
College football is on the ledge right now. And it really leads to a point where many of these teams, these franchises, these programs are going to fall off that edge because it is completely unsustainable regarding the money that is being spent in college football and where it's coming from. See, that's the biggest thing. Colleges will never tell you where their money is coming from. They won't be upfront. Certainly, you'll hear about an occasional booster, you'll hear about a sponsor, you'll hear about somebody who comes in. But right now, the colleges who want to contend for a national championship have got to be stockpiling millions of dollars. And they've got to have the people involved who want to go ahead and keep spending those millions, maybe even into the hundreds of millions of dollars, to keep them alive for the chance, maybe not even for a title, maybe just for a chance to play for a title. Which brings us then to Texas Tech. You probably have never heard of Cody Campbell before, but you should, and you should know what's happening, because Cody Campbell is at the forefront of what is happening in college athletics right now and the train wreck that is coming for many programs, and it could be your program as well. Campbell is a self-made oil billionaire. He has decided that he wants to make sure that Texas Tech has every opportunity whatsoever to not only contend, but to win a national championship. It is really what all these rich guys do. Every time, and this goes back decades, where you had the big money boosters who came in and threw, at the time, $500,000, $1 million, a couple of millions of dollars. They wanted to be associated with the program. They wanted to be close to the program. They wanted to go to the cocktail parties. They wanted to go on the trips. They wanted to be the person wearing the jersey. They wanted to have their pictures taken at the Heisman Trophy celebration. They wanted to be the one to go ahead, be on the field, and lift the trophy of whatever second or third rate bowl game that was played that weekend. They wanted to be part of the gang. And that's what led to them giving in all their money. They wanted to see the team win. Sure, some of them were alumni, but not all of them were. Some of them just wanted to be part of it. They wanted to get close to it. They couldn't get close to the pros, but they could get close to college athletics because college took the money under the table hundreds and thousands of times. I mean, it's more than that. Every single school, and I will guarantee you this, that even comes to this day, at some point, and it really started to take off in the 70s and the 80s and maybe by the 90s, everybody was under the table with a couple of bucks. Everybody was keeping the players satiated, was making sure they had a buck, making sure they could go out. Oh, they didn't have money to go out on a Friday night. Here's a couple of hundred. Here's a couple of $1,000. Here's $10,000 to go ahead and do it and do that. I mean, it happened at almost every school. There had to be maybe 5% of the major colleges with major college football programs across the country who didn't take part in graft, in spending that money, in spreading that money, because they all wanted to win. And again, these sponsors, these boosters, notice how you don't hear the phrase boosters anymore, because that's really old hat. It used to be the boosters who did it illegally. The NCAA cracked down on a lot of programs and put a lot of them on probation. But a lot more got away with it because there was really a look this other way attitude for so many years in college athletics. Now you come to the 21st century. We come to the 2020s. To the point where we are now looking, and major college programs are looking at tens and hundreds of millions of dollars that they need. It's not that they just want it, they need it in order to succeed, in order to pay the players, in order to pay the coaches, in order to be part of the conferences where they're going to make a tremendous amount of money on the television contracts, in order to be part of the big bowls that will pay off. They've got to keep that money coming in. In comes a guy like Cody Campbell with $60 million since 2022 that he has handed Texas Tech in order to make them champions. Of course, he hasn't yet, but he's basically helped put Texas Tech into the conversation right now because there was a time when Texas Tech, think about Tech as a contender. Nobody would do that. There's a lot of people who still don't do it to this day, but he's going to put his money where his mouth is and he's going to help. And look, I can't stop him from that, and neither can you. Remember, too, this is not all about Texas Tech. Whatever team you root for right now, whatever team you're a part of, you better listen up because this is part of what your future is, whether you like it or not. Because Texas Tech took the money, Texas Tech wants to grow. They want to become a big-time team. They want to contend for a national title. And they could be on the cusp. But they do it because they've got the money now. They can pay the coaches. They can pay the buildings. They can pay the players. They can pay the sponsors. They can pay the players. They can pay the players. You see a trend that's growing here? Because the players are the mercenaries now in college athletics, in college football specifically, where they're setting the prices. And they're the ones who are going to take as much money as they can, and they don't give a damn about an education anymore. I think probably at this point you've got 15% of the players on a college football team who really care about an education, maybe more. Okay, I'll give it 25%. The rest all still believe they're going to go ahead and go big in the NFL, and they want to make sure they get their fat cat checks from college athletics. But I digress for the moment here. These programs need the money. Every program has a Cody Campbell. And every program, in some cases, has several Campbells who are in there putting in millions, tens of millions of dollars into programs. Some programs are probably, since if you want to take a few years, are probably getting over $100 million from these sponsors, from these people who want to help the program. Now, stay with me. These people come in like a Campbell, and they spend their money. They've got lots of money. But they spend their money in order to help win a championship and help build the program. They get to the point where the program is building. Program reaches a crescendo, and a program starts to win. And they do that maybe for a couple of years. Now, remember, we're in the transfer portal era, where it has never been more difficult to keep a contending team at that level. Because as players continue to shift, as coaches continue to shift, as they have, fortunes change immediately. You've got a team that could be on the verge of a national championship who loses their coach to somebody else, and then the players follow the coach, or the player goes out in the transfer portal, and just like that, after one season, you're out. You don't have a chance. Your players have been depleted. Your roster has been basically ripped into. You don't have the coaches anymore. And when a coach leaves, the assistant coaches, sometimes they leave to go with the coach because they're going to make more money. So you've got the boosters sitting there, the Campbells, let's just call them, who are sitting there putting in the millions of dollars to keep Program A going. Suddenly, Program A is not winning. They had a couple of good seasons. They got close. Maybe they got into the final round of 12, 16, or 24, whatever it is. But then they lost their coach. Then the players decided they wanted to go somewhere else. They didn't do a good enough job rebuilding the roster. They didn't do a good enough job on the recruiting. They tried to spend the money, but the players wanted to go someplace else because somebody else is offering them more money or a sweeter deal. So that team that had reached a pinnacle, that ledge, if you will, is now starting to fall off the edge. Maybe they had an 11-win season. Maybe they had a 10-win season. Then they get a 9-win season. And then maybe disaster strikes and they get a 7 or a 6-win season. You got the boosters over here. I still call them boosters. The boosters, the sponsors, whatever you want to call them. The money men. They're out there still paying the money. The Campbells come to this school and go, you know, I'm giving you $10 million a year, and you're not winning. I haven't been to a bowl game. We haven't been to a bowl game. You're being embarrassed on national television. You're not doing well at all. So I'm going to pull back on my money. I gave you 10. This year I'm going to give you 5. Holy shit in the morning. The school goes into a full-blown panic because they have to continue to operate at a certain level of fiduciary need in order to continue to contend. They've got to have that money to pay the coaches, pay the players, pay the facilities, build the new stadiums, do whatever they need to do. And if you take half that money out, you take $5 million out, maybe Campbell too takes her money out. Maybe another one takes his money out. All of a sudden, you're looking at a major deficit. Now, where's that money going to come from? Your money's all spent that you get from the conferences, if you get a high amount from the conferences, which many do. The television contracts, you're getting your money there. That's already been allocated. And a lot of times it's been allocated in the right place, maybe not necessarily into the football program, because we all know there's still more of that underhanded dealing. So you got less money. What are you going to do? You panic because you've got to find someone to replace that money, but you can't. So your program falters. So you get down to 8 wins, 7, maybe 6, maybe 5. Where just a couple of years prior you were contending for a championship, your sponsor money is drying up because you're not winning. And you're not winning because your sponsor money is drying up. It is the vicious circle that college football has driven itself into right now. It is not like the pros, because it is all different at every different school and at every different level. And the money is just all over the place. One school might get $50 million from their sponsors, from their Campbells. The other one might get $250 million. And it's imbalanced there anyway, because still, we're right back to where we were years ago. Where you make the most money, where you bring in the most money, you are able to contend better than anybody else. Now, the transfer portal can change things, but you still got to pay. Look at what some schools have done that you didn't expect to be. And I use Ole Miss as an example. Nobody expected them to be there, but they went out. They got Lane Kiffin, who was reaching a certain point in his salary. He got some players to come in. Guess what? He got to a certain point, and then he left. And now they're left in a lurch because they got to do without him. And some players are going to leave, and some players are going to decide to follow him, and some are going to go other places. Ole Miss, even with the sponsors, because they couldn't keep them for whatever reason, they might start to take it downhill. And again, I'm not wishing this on anybody. Okay, just put all the brickbats away and don't come after me and don't email me and call me names. It's unnecessary. I'm just telling you what the reality is. Schools need those millions, and they have to make up for them somehow, which means they have to go out and find new sponsors and new boosters and new benefactors, if you will. But what happens when it dries up? What happens if you're a team that's just winning? You got 5, 6, 7 wins, and you want to get better. You got to find somebody who's willing to spend a spitload of money, and there's not many people out there. If they're not going to get everything, it's an ROI deal. It still is return on investment. And if you're not able to give them the return on investment, then why should they give you more money? That's what college football has now become. They need those millions. They need those billionaires, the guys with the oil money, the gals with the oil money. They need them to come in here and spend. But if they don't win, why will they spend? I only point this out as a tale of warning, because the money's getting out of hand in college football. The players know it now. The players, it's just like anything else. We always talk about how kids are not that smart. Guess what? These kids are pretty damn smart, because they see the money. They know the money's there. They're the ones who've now got the agents. They're the ones who now have the advisors. They have advisors. I know one family who's got their kid an advisor who's a potential top pick out of high school. The kid is 16. And the kid has got an advisor sitting there working with him, trying to cut high school NIL deals and sponsor deals. And the kid's going to make 5 figures next season. His last season in high school. And then he's going to move on. It's shocking where this money is going. So all I'm pointing out is college football needs to do something about this. These boosters and benefactors need to be brought to heel. There needs to be, at this point, we may be talking about a salary cap, which again portends a professional league, if you will, which then goes back to my earlier discussion about the chance they had, and maybe they could have unionized at one time, the players, but that's all long gone at this point. Maybe it'll still happen, but I doubt it. If the players are making tons of money right now and their advisors are getting tons of money without being part of a union, why be part of that? Continue to be a wildcat, take your shot, and make your millions. And my last point in this is the schools won't suffer. Yeah, maybe the athletic director will make a little less. Maybe the coach will make a little less. But see, and I've said this before, I'm a fan guy. I stand for the fans, because the fans have been screwed, blued, and tattooed for decades. The teams don't care about you. The leagues don't care about you. You're a dollar sign. Every single one of you that follows a college football program right now, what you are is a dollar sign. That's all you are. They look at you and they look at your head, and there's the money. How much money can he, she, it, they, their families bring into us? They don't care about you as fans. Make sure you come and buy the new foam finger. Make sure you come in and buy the double-sized beer, whatever it is. Make sure you follow us on the road. And make sure that you keep us up in money. That's all it is. You, the fans, are the ones who are going to suffer for this. Because it'll happen. The schools will regress. You'll be screaming and hollering where you're paying a tremendous amount of money for tickets. You're not going to get a discount. Schools aren't going to give you an extra buck off here and there. It's not going to be a $5 off coupon for a ticket. You're going to keep paying the freight until they can rebuild themselves. Then it's going to be more expensive because as they rebuild, they're going to raise the prices again because they have to. It's the price of competition. Your ticket prices are going to go up. Your chance to watch the games is going to go up financially. You're going to get stuck with it. Meantime, the colleges, the coaches, the administrators, the television networks, to a certain case, the social media internet networks, all of these people are going to make gobs of money. And they don't give one spit in the ocean about the fans because they know you're going to show up. They know you're suckers. They know that no matter what team it is, you're always going to root for your team. You're so ingrained in it. You love it so much. You want to be a part of it. You're a part of it every single weekend. You live, eat, sleep, and breathe that team. They know they got you. And they're just going to keep sucking you dry. And where's all that money going to come from? And where's it all going to go? It's going to come from somebody else who decides that they want to go ahead and hoist a trophy later in life, or they want to have a picture taken with the star quarterback. And for the fan, stay in your seat. Buy the beer. That's all. Just keep spending the money and the colleges will be happy. The greed is going to be even more insatiable than it is now.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.